Got to get through them, sleeping man.
Maybe we should at least change shirts for the second one.
Why? I haven't changed shirt for 50 episodes.
So it looks like the first and the third are different.
Yeah, right.
First and second are different.
It's like Wheel of Fortune, right? It's supposed to change. Well, we don't have mega bars. We don't have a staff.
No.
We got just us.
Just us, dude. We're
Pretty
back.
much. Yeah, we're back again.
Again.
For the first time.
For first time today. Wink, wink.
I mean, but come on. A lot of podcasts must bank their shows.
Of course they do. Yeah, especially like Two Bears has to do it.
Because
they don't live in the same cities.
And they do stuff. They go on tour on the road or whatever.
Yeah.
He's playing local, Segura.
Yeah, he's doing a thing at the Wellmont with...
I think he's at the PNC. Not the PNC. What the hell's it called? Prudential.
What's his name?
Bob.
No.
Crane.
John Stewart.
Really?
Yeah. I think they're doing 2 nights at the Wellmont. And then he's doing something with Bert.
At the
Bert.
Is that the one at the Prudential?
Probably.
Yeah. That's amazing. Bert. I mean, he's big too.
Yeah. In more ways than one.
Does he got new stuff?
Right,
I don't feel like he ever does.
I don't know. I don't watch it.
I kind of
watched
when
one
the shirt
of his
comes off.
One of his specials. I don't know which one it was, but it was filmed in Texas. It was before I knew who he was, and I think I watched about 2 minutes of it, and I was like, "Yep."
Took the shirt off, and that was it.
Not for me. Yeah, it could have been that.
I would think so.
Yeah, it just wasn't my style thing.
Right.
Yeah, comedy usually either gets me or it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't stick in for,
It's hard to listen to an hour of something.
Right. It's not like a movie where you have to get a little character development.
Right.
And then, the story twists and it goes somewhere you didn't expect. And then you're like, I see why they did all that.
Right.
Build up.
Right.
Yeah.
You're basically watching a personality unfold in front of you.
Yeah.
And it's either good or bad.
Yeah, it's a rough thing. So, music is kind of the same way.
Yeah, but I feel like music's easier.
Well, here's the thing. If you're listening to one tune, and if it doesn't grab you by the chorus,
right,
you're probably not going to listen to a second or third.
Right.
If the first one's like, okay, then maybe you'll dabble in the others.
But I'm talking about from the stage point of view. Music is a hell of a lot easier than being a comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Up there by yourself.
Yeah.
Silence.
Naked to the world.
Like, I don't give a fuck about you out there. If it's going bad, I'll just turn up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll get through this thing louder and louder.
Sure.
You don't have no thoughts. You can't say anything if I can't hear you. But, like, when a comedian fails or bombs and all of a sudden he's, like, heckled.
Yeah.
Like,
you suck.
Right. All of a sudden you turn into Kramer.
Yeah.
Spitting. Racial hatred.
Yeah, yeah.
They're trying to do that to that other kid.
Think that guy will ever work again? No.
Think he has to?
I don't think he has to, but...
Right. So,
stupid ass.
It happens. Sometimes
yeah.
Sometimes it's like it's like the blackout rage, right? When somebody punches the hell out of somebody till they don't realize they killed them. He'd probably keep it down if it was like random. Hey. And then all of a sudden what's his name too? I was watching some silly show and it was Screech from Saved by the Bell trying to do stand up.
Oh yeah.
Terrible. And it's like you listen to other guys who get heckled, they kind of just work their way through it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're just angry at a guy,
yeah,
how about your mother? Whoa, where'd that come from?
Yeah, it's a tough thing. I've had some friends of mine ask me to do it, and I'm like, I don't know if I could keep it together.
Just a whole set?
No, I mean I can. I'm sure I can make fucking hours and hours and hours worth of material. I don't know if it'd be good, but dealing with people,
right,
without snapping, might not be my strong point.
Maybe that might be your shtick.
Yeah, it seems like everybody on Instagram has that shtick though.
What, just yelling at people?
Every comedian thing you see, besides like real famous comedians like Louis or somebody,
mm-hmm,
is a comedian tearing up a heckler.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like,
Who cares, right? Yeah.
yeah, because then when you get known for that, then people come to your show to be a dick.
Right.
Just to start that shit rolling
They tried that with Bill Burr.
with the whole Philadelphia thing.
And after that, yeah.
Yeah.
They tried it with, like, I think they used to do it with Opie and Anthony. You know, that whole crowd.
Yeah.
Just fuck with them.
Hmm.
I mean, like, the people are trying to fuck with that other kid that was on. Who's
Right.
the young? Yeah.
Hmm.
Because he said something.
Yeah, well, but he got famous dealing with heckler folks on TikTok videos.
Right. Right. Yeah. He made it.
So he kind of,
He kept it going.
dug it,
So,
dug his own grave. But yeah, because he made some stupid joke.
something about domestic violence or something.
Yeah, and then he said he was going to start a fund to buy helmets for speds.
Well,
or
no, he
something.
put a link in his he doubled down and put a link in his comment, and it was for helmets,
Yeah.
which was I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, and then he got in an argument with like some 6-year-old kid or something, something about his mom buys his presents from OnlyFans. It was like the whole thing, but I don't know, that's his thing, you know. Hey,
Yeah.
and then I think he was what's his name? I saw a clip. Who's the guy who talks like he's-
Jordan Peterson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was on with him. He's like, and you thought this was going to help your career? I was like, oh my God. He's small doses. I can't take a full podcast of him.
He wants to be a comedian in the worst way.
Does he?
Well, he's always hanging out with them,
Right, but,
but
he's
he
not.
doesn't have it. I mean, I don't think he'll ever go on stage. The personality would not come across.
Yeah, I don't understand. What's his name goes on stage too? Gavin McGinnis goes on stage.
Yeah.
You know who he is, right?
Yeah.
Right. But he's got his thing, and he does shows, and it's like, I don't find him funny, so I don't know how you do shows. I mean, he's all right on his little podcast,
Right.
his podcast stuff, wherever I see him on, he's all right. But I'm like, I don't picture him as a comedian.
Right.
He's just not, I don't get the vibe. I get the Nazi vibe more than, so maybe he was onto something there.
Yeah. There you go.
I guess you should, lean into the job you're good at. You're a Nazi. Be a Nazi. Just do it.
What's that paying these days?
Probably not much, right?
You just need a crazy mustache. You're good.
I bet you, though, like any other niche,
Yeah.
if he was a Nazi comedian, he would get people. I mean,
Sure.
your gigs would be a little strange in the middle of backwoods here and there, and
Yeah. There'd be a lot of protests and
yeah. Well, you were,
arrests and all kinds of shit.
or they'd fly you into their compounds.
Yeah.
We got a special guy tonight.
Yeah.
The only Nazi comedian in America.
Yeah.
So you think
And then
you
you'd have the FBI following you around everywhere.
right? But what if you could just say, "Hey, I'm a Nazi comedian. It's my shtick. I'm not a Nazi."
You probably wouldn't work a lot.
Right, but I'm saying, so when you do work, though,
Yeah. You're safe.
yeah, I'm sure when they bring you
Yeah.
in to, like, blindfold you, bring you through the woods, and then you're in front of you're in a barn.
You hope.
Right. Like, what
All
was
of a
that?
sudden, you're surrounded by Mossad agents. You're like, oops.
Oh, boy. It's a joke. Can't take
Whoopsie.
a joke.
Yeah.
What was that? Was that American
It's
History?
like being a Satan worshiper in the 80s.
Was that American History X? Where they
Yeah.
had the Nazi bands at, like, a barn,
Yeah.
kind of like you're a juggalo.
Yeah.
Just like the gathering of the
much.
Nazis. I mean, look, there's a lot of stigma with it, but can you say I'm just, doing Nazi stuff? Like, I mean, guys who play Dungeons and Dragons don't really think they're going to find a dragon and get him with a sword.
But furries think they're actual animals.
Some, right?
Yeah.
Some must do it just to get laid.
Do you want to fuck those people, though?
No, but people do weird shit.
People do weird shit, but if you have to go that far out on a limb to get some,
I guess you got to start looking inside.
yeah, you should definitely get out the pad, do the,
Maybe go see somebody.
the pluses and the minuses of
I don't know.
where things have gone wrong and what you could have done to change your life.
Maybe take an online Rorschach test. See
Something.
what's wrong with you. I mean, all right. But I don't know if we can really compare furries to Nazis. I mean,
They're both the same thing. Let's be honest.
in their own weird way.
Yeah.
They both like costumes.
They do like costumes. They show up. They want people to cater to their needs.
But you can't goose step as a furry. The legs, right?
If you're a goose. You
Or a
can.
giraffe, you probably could.
Yeah, giraffe stepping all over the place.
Yeah, you never know. But, I mean, like I said, it's frowned upon. Doesn't mean somebody can't do it.
Right.
Give it a whack.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know how you would go to that premise. Like, hey, you know, like, I'm not really a Nazi, but if I was, here's my jokes.
That sounds like a good end.
Were there even Nazi comedians when Nazis were around?
Oh, man, that must have been funny. All the jokes are about the Jews.
Right.
Right.
Or gypsies.
Jews and gypsies.
Jews, gypsies, and maybe some people over here on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I mean, like that. Just, they've got, you know, no terrorist comedians.
Two Jews walk into a bar. We load them onto a train. Everybody cracks up. Yeah.
Oh. Two Muslims walking to a bar. Nobody walks out. But I mean, there's got to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at people who do horrific shit anyway, who, you know, guys who have to investigate crime scenes or clean them up or whatever.
Mhm.
They've got some kind of sense of humor. There's got to be funny terrorists.
Right.
Got to be funny Nazis. There had to be, right?
Yeah, of course.
To some regard, right? Like, yeah, you're Mengele. You're probably cracking a few jokes. After all that shit you're doing?
Yeah.
You got to. You can't take that work home with you. It'd probably bug you all night.
Hey.
I would think so.
So I took an arm and I shoved it up his ass and sewed it in there.
You know what it's like having to listen to somebody when you're trying to do surgery on them awake? It's a lot of work. So, like, you know, I don't know if they're going to go home and kick the dog, but they got to do something to relax after that kind of work.
Well, I think if you're doing that kind of thing, you're probably a little off to begin with.
Yeah. How come they never call them sociopaths or serial killers? They call them doctors. Seems like a fine line.
Well, you mean him specifically?
Well, any of those guys, right? Any of those doctors that were part of the bad stuff. You never hear them as, well, these guys were kind of like serial killers. You always hear they were doctors experimenting. They're never like
Yeah.
sociopath,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
up all night on amphetamines.
Right, and they probably had heads in their refrigerator, right?
Sure. Probably went
Of
in,
course.
turn on the coffee pot, open the fridge or some body parts in there, grab the milk. You still start your day.
They open up the guy's mouth and the sugar packets are in there. Like, hey, thanks.
Like when the straws or whatever come out of it. I think at McDonald's you see the straws come out. Like, you have to think normal stuff was going on while that horrific shit was happening.
Yeah, of course.
Like
I mean, you got to have regular life, sure.
like those soldiers that marched people into a gas chamber shower, killed them all. They had to break for lunch at some point and ate lunch, and didn't think anything of it.
And then went home to their families probably at some
Right.
point.
Yeah. Punched out or whatever. You think they got salary or were they
They're
hourly?
like, hey, Fritz, how was it today?
Hey, listen, I got something to do. Can you do 2 hours for
Yeah.
me? Can you
Yeah.
stay a little late tonight?
Got to pick up the kids from nursery school.
Yeah. Listen, we got a big train coming in. I'm going to need a couple extra hours out of all you guys. You know, like,
Yeah.
you would
Back
think,
to the gills.
yeah. Listen, they're not going to bury themselves. Now get out there. You got time to lean. You got time to dig. Now get out there. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there's got to be some. There
It's all assholes and elbows in that train.
Yeah, it's probably a direct descendant from that guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, they had to have a normal life somewhere in there. I don't know how normal.
Yeah, of course.
You know.
Just like prison guards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's a little. But
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. You just took it to a little bit of an extreme. That's
yeah,
all.
it stops.
You had a little bit more license.
Right, it stopped at a certain point.
Yeah.
Well, you know, so. And sure, it's like I said, the same with everything. Any job, anywhere to go, there's got to be somebody has to create levity, or else you probably couldn't do it without going insane.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you never really hear about that. They never really cared about the PTSD of Nazis.
No.
Like the guys that didn't. Were they forced to do it?
Join the party?
Mm-hmm.
I would think that at some point when they started picking up steam, it was kind of like that, sure.
Caught up in a moment.
Yeah, you just want to not have a fucked up life,
Right. Well,
right?
once you say yes,
Yeah, but it's like you can't just like not everybody could just pick up and move
right,
to Argentina or whatever.
right.
So you got to kind of stick it out, and the only way to do that
Just
is to do that.
head down, follow through.
Yeah.
That's the other thing you never hear about is dissolution. Like how many were like, the posters were great. We're doing what?
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Like the, those like hey, go overseas, see strange places.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, listen, you don't got to get on the front line. We got this work over here.
Mhm.
You're not gonna be bombing anybody, nothing. And they're like, all right, this is great. And then they get what? I got to do what?
Be close to home. You'll see the kids every night.
Right, you're home. You're out at
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, so where, like, there had to be some people that were disillusioned.
Every day at 5 o'clock, you got to take this little disc and drop it in the pipe on the top of the building.
Oh boy.
That's it.
I would probably get it far away before you hear the coughing. 'Cause there's going to be a lot of coughing.
Yeah.
It's not screaming. It's just coughing.
Oh,
I guess I mean every day.
get him a lozenge.
Oh, it's got a smell too every day. They always say the battlefields always smell like shit because
Yeah, the
people are
rotting
taking a
body.
shit. Besides people dying,
Oh,
everybody's got to take a shit. They got to know where to put it.
yeah,
There's
your
no-
pre-battle shit.
right, or whatever.
It's got to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm sure you pucker once that first bomb comes in and you ain't shitting for a few days.
Yeah, well, I would think like the old school things. They kind of it was almost like they called you out at the flagpole after school,
Yeah.
right? It was like we're gonna meet in the field.
The
Which is
very
gonna-
first one's right.
Yeah, we're just gonna walk at each other and duke it out.
Right.
Right. But then when it got into more guerrilla type, you had to just find a
That had,
palm tree to shit next to,
or when
or
we had mercenaries in the Revolutionary War.
fill up that trench.
How did that feel? Like you're a British guy who's used to that. Well, we're going to stand here, we're going to shoot each other, we're going to reload, we're going to shoot again.
Oh yeah,
And all of a sudden some motherfucker comes out of a tree and cuts your head off.
yeah,
Beat your other friend up. Like,
yeah.
you can't be, like, that's not gentlemanly.
No,
And then all of a sudden that guy's gone or whatever. I mean, we probably started that. I got to think we started that.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is the history of guerrilla warfare?
Now we got something.
That I can look up.
Let's see. What is the history of guerrilla warfare?
Yeah, I probably don't want to open
Yeah.
PowerPoint.
You have a whole presentation on it?
Yeah, I do.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, the history of guerrilla warfare.
The history.
No. Back to ancient history. Let's see. Oh, come on with the fundraising here.
Are always fun. Stretches back to ancient history. While guerrilla tactics can be viewed as a natural continuation of
Sun
prehistoric
Tzu.
warfare. The art of war.
Yep. 6th century BCE.
Wow.
It was the earliest
Who's before Christ and who else?
proposed.
What's the E?
Eddie? Before Eddie.
Christ was Eddie before it was Jesus?
Before Eddie Van Halen.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true.
Pro-
Does that say Mang Zedong?
Yep, Mao Zedong.
Oh. Ho Chi
Yeah,
Minh?
he said propose the use, not actually use it. So
Right.
this directly inspired the development of modern guerrilla warfare.
Hmm.
So it's a commie Asian thing. That's what it's.
That's where the
it's
slang
kinda
came
saying
from,
that,
I
yeah.
guess.
Sure. Yeah. Interesting.
The Persians?
Interesting.
Celtics?
Quintus Fabius Maximus Verrucos,
Wow. The father of guerrilla warfare.
the father of guerrilla warfare
The Fabian strategy against Hannibal's army. Wow.
during the Second Punic War.
A lot of this has to be made up. How do they know?
Yeah.
I really am feeling like more and more history is made up as we get older.
You think so? People are just like
Where is it coming from?
slipping things in?
Where are they finding it?
Well, on Wikipedia, anybody could post one of these, right?
Right, but where are they, like, obviously you see some artifacts when you go to a museum. But I mean, like, the one of the things they said on Rogan was that they never actually found a full Viking helmet.
Yeah.
They found one.
No horns.
No horns, and they only found one helmet over all these years.
Yeah, it wasn't like the whole group wore them.
Right. So, how much is made up? Same with all this. How much is made? 52 BC, and who's keeping record?
Well, they had writers back then.
Yeah, but how did they keep it alive and healthy?
Just put a pen to paper.
Right, but then you have to protect that paper and pen from
Yeah,
light,
sure.
from dark.
That's why when like libraries got burnt down, it was like a really heinous thing to do. You destroyed somebody's culture.
Sure. And all those overdue
Yeah,
books.
and all those fines are never to be collected again.
Did you ever pay an overdue book fine in your life?
Sure. I'm a good
Was it
boy.
like a nickel a day or
I'm a
something?
good
Was it a
citizen.
nickel a week? It was like a really weird number.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was a number that didn't even matter, but it mattered, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
because
a guilt.
if you had one that was overdue
Right.
and then you didn't pay it and then you needed a book from the library, they wouldn't let you have it
You
unless
go,
you paid it.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, you got an overdue book.
Got $1.68. Yeah.
You would think the fine would just get high enough and like, listen, I'll just buy the book from you.
Yeah, just keep the book.
Listen, you're into us for too large.
Yeah, it would take a lot.
Marge in the back room wants to see you.
Just cracking her knuckles.
Just get
Rolling
that
up her
ruler out.
sleeves. Yeah.
There ain't no cameras back here. There were no cameras at all.
Your toast, son.
Say goodnight, kid. So, I don't know how we got on the guerrilla warfare. Oh, from the field of battle smelling like shit.
Yeah.
Same thing though. Like the Auschwitz and all that had to smell horrendous,
Yeah.
and it had to probably smell horrendous for miles around.
Yeah.
Piling up all those cooking those
Dude,
bodies.
I've
piling
gone
them.
into Costco on a weekend and it smells bad. Costco in Edison.
Oh yeah, I've had
It's rough out there.
a few of them
I'm sure.
in the gym,
Yeah.
and then you start heating that stuff up.
Mm. Yeah, it gets all that gravy going.
Butt of chicken.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. So I can imagine,
The field of battle.
not even to feel
Yeah.
bad, torture facility. And
You ever burn your hair on accident? How bad it smells? You know,
yeah.
You're burning a lot of hair.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Those people cracking jokes? Those people in those towns are probably saying nothing because they didn't want to be next.
Yeah. I bet you some of them told jokes just to stay alive a little longer.
Right. Well,
Try to keep the Germans amused.
I think that was the birth of Jewish people in comedy.
Could be. Could be.
A lot of history tonight.
Oh, look at Shecky.
Yeah.
Shecky's show.
Well, what was it? Wasn't that a basis of that Jerry Lee Lewis? Jerry Lewis movie, whatever,
Which one?
that never saw the light of the day. Something about the clown, the day the laughter died, or the clown. He was a clown in a concentration camp. It was a movie.
Really?
It never saw the light of day, and I think something with it upon his death, and it was going into the Smithsonian maybe or something. I don't know, but it was supposed to be a dark comedy.
Okay.
Essentially, he was a comedian or a clown trying to keep the children happy and stuff before the inevitable
Yeah.
end.
Wow. Sounds crazy.
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, it could have been that good. He wasn't a good actor, so
My unit like Flubber?
no.
Flubber ruled.
I couldn't take the sound.
Yeah.
I couldn't take the voice. And him singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" at the end of the March of Dimes thing every year.
Yeah. It was weird how his normal voice
Right,
compared to his acting voice.
right.
That screechy bullshit.
Do you think he was like, was he funny? like stand-up funny, or was he just actor funny? Pratfall funny kind of.
Yeah, well, that was kind of style back then, right?
Right, the vaudeville.
Yeah.
Right. It's amazing how we feel like it's far away. It wasn't that long ago.
No.
Like we've developed that fast.
No.
Everything developed, even that, right? Comedy.
I wonder if you were in say like 1400, and then you were in 1460.
Right.
Would you be like, oh my God, so much just
would,
happened?
Would you still be alive? Didn't they drop off pretty quick, like 20 years?
Maybe.
Right. Do you think the change happened? I don't think the change happened as fast, right?
No, things didn't progress as much, right?
Right.
It was like, oh, this guy built a catapult, and then when was the next thing that came out? Like
Right.
300 years later? Or
All of a
something?
sudden, someone's like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Weren't we just using that other thing?
Yeah.
No, we're using this now.
Yeah.
Like, even that, like we talked about with people sailing blindly across the ocean. Probably same concept, right? The first person all of a sudden who made an axe. You know what I mean? Guys were throwing around arrows or whatever.
Yeah.
It took a year and a day to probably make a pile. All of a sudden, tomahawk. Oh,
You're like, whoa,
what the? That's heavy.
I'm just going to throw some crap at you.
Yeah. So that guy had to do something. He had to be, like. But if his life expectancy is 30 years, he'll never probably see the next change.
Right.
Nobody will.
Yeah.
They'll overlay that, but it probably just moves so slow. Like maybe the guy at 29 years in, somebody found that guy's paperwork and said, "Oh, maybe we'll start from here." Right.
All right.
And
The Da Vinci Code?
right. So now he takes
Yeah.
first 5 years to decipher, because that was ancient history.
Sure.
And now he's like, "Oh, I got it," and then he's dead. So he didn't get it through anything.
That's why I had a serious apprenticeship program back then.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to carry it on, especially
Somebody's got to.
right. How much wasn't documented?
A shit ton.
Like techniques that were just handed down.
Spinning hair into gold.
Right.
All that alchemist stuff.
Yeah. Or like you're teaching this kid how to make horseshoes, and all of a sudden he gets kicked by a horse and he forgets everything. He's speaking Spanish because sometimes that happens when somebody gets clunked on the head.
Yeah.
Now everything's all fucked. You got to start over again.
Speaking of that, I watched Tropic Thunder the other night. Simple Jack.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one in so
Oh
long.
boy.
Bad.
Oh man. He seems like he got kicked by a horse.
He might have.
Yeah. More stupid.
So that's what I mean. Like that frailty, that little line of hope to carry on, could be lost. That kid ain't paying attention. He falls in a hole. He's dead.
Yeah.
No one knows how to make horseshoes now. They're looking for the guy in the bottom of the hole going, "Hey, he's dead. How are we going to do this? I don't know."
Yeah.
Or whatever.
We need a smithy.
Yeah. So I guess you're training. Hopefully you're training a lot, right? Redundancy.
Yeah. No, I think people started way young. And we have to get out of here.
Now we're out. Till
All
next
right.
time.
See you. TOT!
Later.